This is a Secure Digital Life special moment. So basically, because a lot of people called in and asked me about this, we decided that we could talk for just a few minutes with you about the latest Facebook hack. And mostly what I want to talk about is the top ways to hack your Facebook, because that's what everyone asks about. Have I been hacked? Did I get hacked? Am I being hacked? Can I hack this? Can I hack that? Whatever. So I thought we would talk about my top ways to hack Facebook. And if you guessed, the number one, if you guessed it, phishing. I don't need to be a hacker to take advantage of you. The way I'm primarily going to hack your Facebook is using phishing attacks. If I can get you to give me the information that I want, I will get what I need without doing any kind of sophisticated, elaborate hacks that are going to make me have to do a lot of work, because basically I'm lazy. So I don't want to go in and try to figure out a way to break into something that I don't need to. And this is basically the analogy of I could figure out some elaborate, sophisticated scheme and have Tom Cruise hanging from wires coming out of the air vents, which are, I don't know, human-sized? Yeah, right. You never see those in real life. The human-sized air vents hanging on wires with a cut-off thumb to get past the biome, all that kind of stuff? Yeah, right. Or I could just call the bank manager and say, hi, I'm a Nigerian prince. Could you transfer $12 million into my bank account and you'll get 10%? And that is the number one way that people are going to get access to this. A very common way to phish people with this is to take an email link that is fake. We've talked about that on the show and all the other shows. Watch those if you haven't seen them. But basically, clicking a link that looks like Facebook login, you try to log in, it says, sorry, we're down right now, please try again in a few minutes, and when you come back, they've already taken over your account, changed your username and password or whatever, or extracted whatever they want. All that's going to let them capture your information, and at that point, they have hacked your Facebook. There are, and one of the most common human paranoias that I've ever encountered in the world, which is that people are spying on you. This comes up a lot in divorce cases, custody cases, and things like that you do as a private investigator. A lot of times people think they're having keyloggers used on them. It is very possible to use a keylogger to capture information. So if you put a keylogger, which you can get online for almost nothing, in between a keyboard and a system, it's possible for that keylogger to actually capture all the keystrokes that were typed, which means that when somebody sits down and types, and they type login, password, username, password, whatever, all that's going to come up, and they're going to be able to capture that information. These are typically just a little USB key, although there are other things, malware, all kinds of stuff that can be on a system that will capture keystrokes. And of course, if you're capturing a bunch of keystrokes, it's easy enough to look for LOGIN : what follows that immediately? Yeah, guess what? So that's certainly a way that people jump in there and get that. These have been done on public systems. I have never seen this done in person, but I have had people tell me they've seen it in public libraries, in hotels, and other places that have public machines, that the assumption would be you're going to sit down at that public machine and log into things. It makes a lot of sense to me. So one of the things you're always going to want to be careful about is if you're using a machine that's not, I mean, this machine here in this room is mine. Nobody ever comes in here but me. So this machine's pretty safe. But if I sit down to log into Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram or anything else, did I say Instagram? Instagram. I don't know. It's too early. But any of those things that's out there, someone could be doing that. So you definitely want to take a look at that. What would it look like? On a wired keyboard, it would be some kind of a little thing between the end of the keyboard connector and the PC. On a public machine that has a wireless keyboard, it would be a little plug-in. And it's going to be hard to spot, because a lot of times on public machines like that, you can't even see the machine, which also means it would be hard for somebody to do that. The downside is they do have to come back and get it. So if you detect that going on, let somebody know, and maybe they can keep an eye out and see who comes back to try to claim that. Again, it's a very common thing that was done in schools, public libraries, places like that, because, you know, there's a machine sitting out there on a public bench, somebody sticks a little keystroke logger in the back, comes back 4 hours later and pulls it out and says, how many Facebook accounts can I get? How many Instagram accounts can I get? Whatever. Other sites. This is probably my favorite vector that would almost qualify as hacking. It doesn't really, but it almost does. It may be indirect hacking. You can call it something like that. Other sites are not necessarily secure. A lot of this discussion about Facebook hacks lately has been about the security of Facebook. I'm not as worried about the security of Facebook as I am about the security of some other site. I mean, even if your username is Mr. Fufu and your password is this giant long string thing I put up there, which is going to be hard for someone to brute force break. If Happy Comedy Potato, and I made that up, please don't go to that site. There's no tell. I should look and see what's there. No telling what is at happycomedypotato.com. But whatever it is, if you go to that site and you use the same username and the same password, maybe Facebook is completely secure. It probably isn't, but let's just assume that it is. Happycomedypotato.com is not. It is a wide open site that could be compromised by numerous employees, an actual hack, a zero-day exploit, a social engineering attack, an SQL injection, on and on and on. Make a big long list of all the things that could happen. Think about all the sites that you use every day, all the things that you log into every day. If any one of them gets compromised, that username and password combination is put out there in the world. It's called credential stuffing, is what this is called. And what that means is someone buys those credentials that have been compromised at happycomedypotato.com, and they use those credentials, put them in a script. That script goes out and tries things like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter to see if they work there. And if they do, then they get a flag and they come back and go, ooh, here's an account I can use. And they log in and then they take over your account. Likewise, this same kind of compromise, if you took this really elaborate, sophisticated stuff that you've got there and you write it down on a sheet of paper and you put the sheet of paper in your locker at school or on your desk at work, and somebody happens to see it and grabs it and of course used to, I would say they took it and photocopied it. These kids today, but these kids today with their fancy cameras can just snap a quick picture of it while you turn your head. And all of a sudden they've got that information. So I've seen that several times in school hacks where teachers got compromised because they had usernames and passwords written on the little pull-out drawer by their desk. It was written on a post-it note on the wall, etc., etc., etc. So protect that information. Use different passwords on every site. Use different usernames whenever possible, because that helps too. Captured passwords. If you use public web browsers, this is a big one, and this was one where so many Facebook attacks came from. If you go to public school, or you work at a university, or you attend a university, or at work, and you use a public machine, web browsers often capture your password information on the way in. So you sit down on a machine, you log into Facebook, it captures it. You didn't notice that it said, "Are you sure you want to save your password?" And you said, you hit enter or whatever. Now the next person who comes along logs in, pulls up Facebook, and it goes, "You're already logged in as Mr. Fufu." And you go, "Wow, I don't know who Mr. Fufu is, but let me find out real quick because I can see the whole feed. Ooh, fun, this is my boss. I think I'll change the password and go back to my office." All of a sudden, you have been hacked. I don't call that a hack, but it's one of the most common ways people get access to your Facebook account. So this is a really common school prank. People do this all the time. They change the settings on browsers so that they do capture passwords. So be really, really careful when you're using public any kind of public machine is really scary for that. Can somebody break your Facebook password? Well, yeah, they can. If your password's 777 or Lucky 7 or Super Lucky, or I won't say all the dirty ones that come to mind, which are very common passwords, by the way, a brute force attack or a dictionary attack, more commonly, can be used against your account. These are slowly being made very difficult because if you have what is called shunning in place. That means after every 3 tries your account locks. That is going to keep people from doing this. But if somebody can guess your account because it's your birthday, or it's your child's birthday, or it's your pet's name, or anything they can get, because remember, if they can see anything, I looked at an account yesterday, sort of prepping for this. I looked at an account, somebody I only vaguely know. I'm not a friend with them or anything on Facebook. I pull up their account. I can see their entire feed. I can see their work history. I can see who they're in relationships with. I can see all kinds of information about them. And guess what I'm going to start guessing is their passwords. I'm going to start right up with Lucky, which was the name of one of their pets. They had a pet also on there that had the name, I don't remember what it was, but whatever it was, Lassie. I'm going to try those first. Their birthday was on there, so I'm going to try that. On and on and on. So again, this is sort of back into a social engineering type of attack, but it is certainly there. So if you have all that stuff or happy birthday notice sitting on a public page, well, somebody may be able to grab that information and pull it right down. Other things. Be careful. This is a big one. It doesn't necessarily constitute a hack, but I see this a lot and I get called about it a lot. This is a request from a friend you already have. So when you get a friend request from somebody and the first thing in your mind is, I thought I was already friends with them. So when I see that, the assumption is, oh, they must have unfriended me. Boy, that's uncommon. They must have unfriended me, and now they've decided, well, maybe he's only sort of a jerk, and they want to friend me back. What they do to do this is they jump in, they look at your profile pic and your name, which they can see. They capture your profile pic. They make a new account with the same name as you, and they put your profile pic on it, and then they send friend requests to everybody they can see on your site. And if you connect with them, it may be a whole bunch of stuff that might, usually they're just people trying to either get you to give them money, or they want to send you, nude photos of themselves in exchange for bitcoins, or who knows what all. And maybe you enjoy those kind of things, but most people don't. Please always be aware of phishing attacks. Take that extra second to never click OK on friend requests and things like that. Always be asking yourself, is this a scam? If you're not. If you use public Wi-Fi, please use a VPN. All those public Wi-Fi things can be sniffed. They can be compromised. If you don't know how to set that stuff up, we have shows on that you can go watch. Try not to use the same password in multiple places on the internet. Every day, sites get compromised. Sites you don't even remember you created accounts on 20 years ago, well, maybe not that long, 10 years ago, are out there, still sitting there, and they may still have that same username and password combination, and they will do credential stuffing. So they buy big lists, write a script, and boom, they try to hit Facebook with 10,000 different account logins to see if any of them work. And if even one of them works, maybe that was unfortunately you. Use two-factor authentication whenever possible. I did a show on that I don't know when you're watching this, but when I did a show on that, it's in the archive. Check that out. That's another method you can use to try and get around that problem. This has been a Secure Digital Life special moment. So till the next special moment, we'll see you around. Thanks. Bye.